1 week from today, we'll be waking up. And we'll be getting ready for some real baseball. Tiki, how you doing today, buddy?
Fantastic.
All right?
I can't wait to go out to the Hard Rock. I was going to say Yankee Stadium, but it's actually going to be the Hard Rock before we go into Yankee Stadium for my birthday. Dove's going to bring me a red velvet cake, and I can't wait.
I can't stand red velvet cake. It doesn't do it for me.
But
we're going to punch you the whale carvel cake. Will you do something that I would like?
That's what I said. I said originally, I was joking. I want an ice cream cake.
And what'd he say?
He said, really? It would melt before we got the chance to
put it in the cooler. Come on, Dove. If you can actually come correct. Now, I want to get into this here. I came across, and I want to make sure that there is obvious and clear distinction between moods. Mm-hmm. Yesterday, I was in a bad mood because of Julius Randle. And we'll touch on something from last night. I got to do a lot of Randle at this point. Who cares? But came across something last night that kind of bothered me. Again, not Julius Randle level bothered me, but bothered me nonetheless. And I think Yankee fans and I think baseball fans will find this interesting. Do you want to know what this is, Mr. Barber?
I think I know what it is.
Just play along.
Mr. Tierney, but please tell me.
Play along.
Yes. What is it, BT? Please tell me.
I'm happy that you asked there, Tiki.
What annoyed you so much that you had to lead our show with it today regarding your Yankees?
You didn't listen. It didn't annoy me that much. It just annoyed me. It bothered me enough to bring it up. Here it is. So, Brian Cashman, all right, there's this article in The Athletic, all right? They do good work.
They do.
And Brian Cashman was asked about the championship drought that we all know has existed since the 2009 World Series. And Brian decided to take a little bit of issue with the premise, and he referenced the 2017 edition of the Yankees, and obviously we know what went down with the Astros there. Here's the quote, and then I've got to inject a little reality into it. You ready? Here's what Cash said. He said, the only thing that stopped us was something that was so illegal and horrific. By the way, talk about hyperbole. I mean, horrific? Come on, man. That's a little strong for the baseball. Trust me, it bothered me too, but horrific.
Yeah, not horrific, but effective. And that's what made it tough to swallow.
Some might even say poignant.
Yes,
all right.
Yes.
So illegal and horrific, he told The Athletic here. So this is still the quote here. So I get offended when I start hearing we haven't been to the World Series since 2009 because I'm like, well, I think we actually did it the right way. We pulled it down. We brought it back. We drafted well. We traded well. We developed well. We signed well. The only thing that derailed us was a cheating circumstance that threw us off. Now, it's important. We're in the business of being fair. You just don't want to always just rant and rave when it's not appropriate. So you have to understand that Cashman was not overly worked up when he said this. He delivered this in a fairly reasonable tone, delivered rationally.
No doubt.
Okay.
Stating the facts, as we
yes, his facts, and then woven in with his opinion.
Yeah, exactly. As he understands it. The fact is, the Astros cheated in 2017. We know this.
Correct. And they won the World Series.
They were clipped for it. It cost his manager. It cost the GM his job. And so we know that this happened. He just added a little bit of oomph to it because it helps explain why his Yankees were not in the World Series that year.
Way to connect the dots there, Mr. Barber. Quote continues, it does bother me when people say we haven't been to the World Series since 2009.
But you haven't.
But that's true. Also factual. We did it all right by building it to a certain level that could have gotten us to a World Series if not for something else. But hey, we're back at it, and every year we're going to try to qualify for the postseason, take a swing, and get this thing through. Now, listen, forget about the moves he has made or he has not made. This is not about Brian Cashman's 2022 version of the Yankees today, or at least right now. This is about Brian Cashman's selective memory. Do I have to remind everybody, most notably Brian Cashman, that Jason Giambi spent 7 years with the Yankees. I know we lost in 2003, but they did make it to the World Series. So that young Marlins staff, Giambi was a big part of the engine, top 5 MVP that year. A-Rod was here for 12 years. He really spearhead the title run in 2009. Roger Clemens was here for 5 years, who won a Cy Young, who won 2 World Series and appeared in 2 others. And other name, Andy Pettit was popped for HGH. Cano, who knows what he was dabbling with back then. Gary Sheffield was here for a minute. Canseco was here. Glenn Allen Hill. Listen, I mean, Brian, we don't want to hear this, man. This is, to me, this is a mistake on the part. I know what he's trying to do, and he's not wrong pertaining to the Astros, but he forgot about his house.
Yeah, you're right.
When he brought up the Astros.
If this would have been, if those years that you were talking about, BT, had been in the early 90s before the PED scandal was a big deal, and he could claim ignorance. I had no idea A-Rod was doing PEDs. I had no idea that Andy Pettitte was trying to get healthy by taking HGH, and Roger Clemens had, turned into reinvigorated his. If this was pre-steroid scandal,
yes,
it'd be okay.
Yeah, it'll be definitely different.
He could claim ignorance, but he can't. And so the problem is when you highlight the fact that you did it right in 17, yet ignore the fact that maybe you didn't quite do it right previous championships. It highlights it, right? It brings it to the forefront. Now, with that being said, I kind of agree with what his premise is. That Yankees team, as we all remember, they had a 3-2 lead over the Astros, and the circumstances were so egregious, and we always come back to it. We're all the Chapmans on the mound, and Jose Altuve is standing up there, not even thinking about a fastball. He's not even thinking about a fastball coming, and he takes that changeup, 82 mile an hour, whatever it was, changeup, yard, and he just sit there and wait. He knew it was coming.
There is no way to keep your hands back on that unless you know that pitch is coming.
Exactly,
it's impossible.
Right. And so he's absolutely right in what he's saying. But it doesn't change the fact that Yankees fans haven't seen a World Series game since 2009.
I'd also like to be a little bit more, let's see, shall we say, enlightening to Mr. Cashman here in this regard, because he talks about how, and these were his quotes, when we drafted well, we developed well, we did this well. Let me give you some of the names that were on this team. I know most of us remember, but in case you don't.
This is
right?
a 17 team.
Yeah, 2017. Yep. Starlin Castro, Yankees didn't draft him. Mm-hmm. Yankees didn't develop him. Now, Didi was a savvy move, clearly.
Yes.
Chase Headley played 147 games that year. Jacoby Ellsbury, horrific signing, all right? Matt Holliday played over 100 games. People forget that. So it's not like he's even what he's trying to illuminate to make himself look good, he's inflating.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like, what players on that team outside of Judge and two or three others?
Well, Sanchez, right?
Well, he's gone.
Well,
Greg Bird, gone.
But then, I'm talking about in 2017.
But I'm talking about now.
Oh, yes,
You can't tell us that you drafted, developed well when within 2 years they're either busts or gone.
Yeah.
Or you want them to be gone.
I forgot.
That's all I'm saying.
I forgot how good of a year Gary Sanchez had that year. I really did.
Well, why do you think they held on to him so long?
Yeah.
It's the only reason. The tantalizing flirtation with greatness.
Yeah,
it was a beast.
33 bombs, 90 RBIs. Yeah, I forgot how great he was, because the current narrative took over, and it kind of permeates everything right now. But you know what? I can kind of stand by him. Look, at the end of the day, he's being asked over and over again. He's being criticized at every turn because whether it's his doing or he's getting an edict from above, he's not spending as aggressive. I mean, I can't even say that, BT, because they do spend aggressively, right? Their payroll $250 million. So it's not like we can say they're not spending any money. It just feels like they're not spending the money to get the upgrades that you need, whether that's his doing or whether he's being edicted to do that or not. I kind of get it. I get where he's coming from. And so he's getting all this criticism. But what he's trying to say is, we've actually put together some good teams. We won 100 games 2 years
without a championship
ago.
Since 2009. So he's making excuses.
Yeah, no, but that's the challenge.
And by the way, life is all about self-preservation. I understand that.
But also,
I get it.
It's the challenge in New York, because the expectation is championship.
Yeah, that's right. It's
okay. You made the playoffs. Fantastic. Some teams would love that, right? Hey, we got to the championship series. That's amazing. That's not good enough for the Yankees fan, and that's why he's having to defend himself. At any other team in baseball, he's not getting this kind of heat for this drought.
No, I don't dispute that. 10-12 here on the Fan, Tiki and Tierney Show, 877-337-6666. We are inside of the Town Fair Tire studio. Our friends at Town Fair Tire remind you that you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. And listen, I don't want to live literally on every single syllable of every word that he dropped here in this article in the Athletic here, but if he's telling us that they drafted and developed well for 2017, well, then why didn't they win championships in 18, 19, 20, or 21? Mm-hmm. Again, I understand when you work in this city, no matter what you do, if it's a high profile, public job in a public sphere, in a public space, you're going to take slings and arrows, even when you're at the height of your powers. And Brian Cashman certainly done more good than bad. I don't want to I don't want to misrepresent the totality of his achievements here, but I wouldn't mind reading this if it's February. It's like a cold February morning. I get up, the kids are still sleeping. Thank God they haven't bothered me yet. They haven't bothered us yet. Make a cup of coffee, sit in my office. What did Cash tell the other? You're not really wrong. The Astros did. I don't want to see this a week before opening day. You know what I want to hear Cashman say a week before opening day? We are busting hump to get another pitcher.
Yeah,
that's what. Even though I know you don't say that.
Yeah,
you just do it. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, isn't he just answering the question? Don't you respect the guy for just answering the question?
I don't know how the question was framed.
I don't either because it's obviously this is not an audio interview. This was in the Athletic, BT. So the question could have been anything.
And I know this about Cash. He never ducks from answering questions, and I've always had respect there, a great respect there. He is one of the few, Leon Rose, when somebody can locate the rock that he is paying his mortgage under, since where he's been living, that would be nice. For years, you didn't hear from the Wilpons, obviously owner, GM, but obviously very different. They would duck issues that we needed answers to.
Yeah, they just didn't want to acknowledge the obvious. That's all.
That they were the Mets and not the Brooklyn Dodgers?
No, just that they had serious financial issues. Everybody knew.
Yeah.
But it
even predates.
Yeah, true. I know that. I know that.
Madoff. I got you. Did you break that story too, by the way?
No,
you didn't break the Madoff story.
I was not on that one.
I got you. 877-337-6666. So, again, a week from today, and I'm very curious, and we touched on this yesterday, the contrast in positivity and energy from the Met fan base as we get ready for the season. By the way, nice to see Alonso go deep.
Yep.
First one of the spring. Lindor's been very good. Obviously, the Mets aces have been throwing the heck out of the baseball. Funny, I'm watching the Yankees. I'm going back and forth between yes and SNY last night on the bike. And I see something I really hope I don't see a whole lot this year. That's Gleyber Torres at shortstop. And I will say, this is the kind of situation. It's not quite Randall territory yet, but Torres better watch himself because there was this little, it was either a one or a two hopper. And it's funny, I was just doing this with the kids in practice the day before. One of the trickiest things for a young ball player is to diagnose the short hop. Do I go get it?
Yeah.
Or do I run the risk of that thing getting me on the short hop and eating me up?
Yeah.
Do I go to it or do I wait,
yes.
right? And he was playing short. I forget who was on first base. Grounder, this little loping one hopper. And he sat on it, right? And by the time he got it and flipped to DJ, and the exchange was quick, but the fielding was slow, and the throw to first base safe.
Yeah.
And Twitter lights up. And I watched it over and over and over, and I'm like, Because I want to be fair to Torres. I want to be fair to everybody. I thought that was a little bit unfair. Personally. Unfair to Torres.
That he got criticized.
Yeah. I don't want to see him at short. I don't know if that's the thing that you choose to put on the chalkboard.
I don't know. This is multiple times we've seen him at short. So clearly, you know what? It's just versatility. I think that's what Aaron.
He's not a shortstop.
Of course,
we don't need to dance. He's not a shortstop, but that play, that you know what it is. That is a reaction from a fan base, much like Randall and some others, where
they don't want to see him.
We're kind of done with you at a certain spot. Yeah. We don't want to see him at shortstop. All right, let's get Joe in Walcott, Connecticut, up first here on the Fan. Joe, what's going on, buddy? How are you today?
Good. How are you guys doing? I love the show. Tiki, huge fan.
Thank you, Joe. What you got for us?
All right. I got two comments. First off, in 2017, when that season started, they were blowing up that Yankees team, and they weren't making that team to win a World Series. They got lucky that you had Sanchez hit the way he hit, Judge hit the way he hit. You had these young guys they brought up.
Yep.
So for them to say, for Cashman to sit there and say, well, in 2017, you wouldn't go into the season saying we're going to win a World Series.
Yeah, I mean,
I agree.
And we know what happened at the end of the season after they got bounced by the Astros. They fired Girardi, right? So, yeah, you're right. They were remaking the team, or at least trying to.
Right. And my second point is coming into this season, I think they knew coming into this season we don't have the starting rotation to chase a World Series. I think they're waiting for these two young guys or three young guys in the minor leagues to come up, play their part like the 2017 team had, come up and play their part, but get the pitching between now and then.
It's very possible there, Joe. Yeah, no, that's very possible. What was the year? Thanks for the call there, bud. Would it have been, was it 2005? When did the Yankees call up Cano and Chin-Ming Wang? I think it was 2005. And I remember, I'm almost positive that Cano debuted at Tropicana Field. And maybe we get a situation like that where, listen, nobody thinks that this is the product that will finish the season.
Yeah.
There's got to be an injection of arms and obviously maybe an injection of two.
Yeah, you're right.
If Severino's not healthy.
Yeah, you're right, 2005.
It was 2005. And I remember that team, they lacked any sort of discernible energy. Like they were languishing. And then they brought up Cano, and there was a spark, and then Chien-Ming Wang, went on to deal. Actually, I think at one point, Chien-Ming Wang was the first Yankee since Tommy John to win 19 games in a row, back-to-back seasons. And then he hurt the Linz Frank out in Houston when he was running the bases, and that was that. But so listen, this is not about a fatal. I've gotten this a lot on social media. Oh, you guys are really negative with No, we're not negative. We are concerned, given the circumstances of the division, at least what I deem to be some glaring deficiencies to start the season on their own team, but also realize, number one, they've got assets, and number two, they can make the team better midseason.
Well, I get that. I think that's what the real talking point is, at least from this studio, BT, is that the team is good. We're not saying the team is bad. We're saying that if the team wants to win a World Series, or at least be in position to win a World Series, that they got to get better. Not that they're bad, but they got to get better because everybody else is getting better.
All right, 877-337-6666, Tiki and Tierney here on The Fan. We're going to roll with baseball out of the chute for a while. A little later, listen, we spent probably even too much time on Randall yesterday, but he did speak, and he said some interesting things that make you pause, and things that, if you're a fair-minded human being, you want to give him, a chance to work his way out of this. But what he said last night tells me he still does not get it. And I'll tell you what I mean by that a little later.